help us to like, comment and subscribe to the channel for more of this. At 24, Clare Morgan never imagined her college graduation day would turn into a quiet yet unforgettable moment of revenge. Standing beside her younger sister Bella, both dressed in caps and gowns, should have been a simple celebration. But Clare had waited years for this. She remembered too well the words spoken by her parents the night they decided Bella deserved everything and she didn't. It was supposed to be a normal dinner. But that sentence, "She deserves it, Clare. You don't," cut deeper than anything she'd ever heard. Now with graduation robes on and the ceremony minutes away, Clare looked over at Bella and smiled faintly. Her parents had no idea what was coming. Clare grew up in a typical suburban neighborhood in Ohio. Their house had a small yard, 2 stories and a white fence that looked picture perfect. But the beauty outside didn't reflect the reality within. Her parents, Thomas and Linda Morgan, held steady jobs. He was an accountant and she a high school teacher. Money wasn't a huge problem, but priorities were. Bella, 2 years younger than Clare, was their shining star. With her blonde curls and sweet smile, she was always the one praised at family dinners and PTA meetings. Clare, quieter and more serious, often faded into the background. Christmas morning said it all. Bella got the newest dolls, the most expensive toys. Clare, socks. Sometimes a $5 art kit from the discount store. When she once asked her mom why, Linda answered gently, "Bella needs more encouragement, Clare. She has real gifts." Clare didn't reply. Even at 8 she understood. Bella was the golden child. And she the spare. School didn't help either. When Bella had a science fair, both parents took off work. They helped her build fancy models and even made matching posters. When Clare had her first art exhibition, her mom stopped by for 10 minutes during lunch break. "Art is just a hobby, Clare," her dad said when she showed him a sketch she'd done of their backyard. "It won't take you far in life." He didn't mean to be cruel. But those words stuck with her for years. Only one person seemed to see her, Grandma Ruth. Every summer, Clare spent 2 weeks at Ruth's lake house, sketching trees, birds and boats. Ruth always said, "You see the world in your own way, Clare. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." In Ruth's small study, Clare read stories of people who built businesses from nothing. She started dreaming, not just of escaping but of making something that no one could ignore. By the time Clare reached high school, she had developed a quiet determination. She joined the business club, the math team and any competition that could prove her value. In 10th grade she won a state-level business plan challenge. Her economics teacher, Mr. Harvey, was so impressed he called her parents personally. "Clare's got real talent," he said. "She could go far." Her mother's response? "That's nice. Bella has a big history project tomorrow. Clare, did you remember to help her with that?" Clare felt invisible again. She stopped hoping for their praise and began building her own path quietly. Junior year was intense. Clare started working 20 hours a week at a coffee shop. She saved every cent. She still had a 4.0 GPA. Meanwhile, Bella joined the debate team and predictably became its star. Their parents came to every tournament, cheering like she was already in Congress. Clare rarely had a night off. She often studied during her coffee breaks and took notes on her phone during late-night bus rides. She knew college was coming. She also knew deep down that she'd be the one funding her dream, whatever it took. By senior year, both girls were applying to college. Clare and Bella, now in the same grade due to Bella skipping a year, applied to Westbridge University, one of the best schools in the state. They got their acceptance letters on the same day. Clare was trembling with joy when she opened hers. "I got in," she said at dinner. Her dad barely looked up. "Good for you." Moments later, Bella came in shouting, "I made it into Westbridge too." The reaction was instant. Their mom cried. Their dad opened a bottle of sparkling cider. "We always knew you could do it." Clare sat quietly at the table, her own acceptance forgotten. 2 weeks later, the real blow came. A family dinner, just the 4 of them, turned serious when Thomas folded his hands and said, "We need to talk about college plans." His eyes never left Bella. "We've been saving for you since you were little. Westbridge is expensive, but we'll cover it completely so you can focus on school." Bella beamed. Clare waited. Nothing came. Finally she asked, "What about me?" The silence was unbearable. "Clare," her dad said gently, "we only have enough for one of you. Bella's always shown more promise." Her mother added, "You're independent. You'll manage. Community college could be a good option." Claire sat frozen. 17 years of being second best had built up to this moment. "She deserves it," her father said, "but you don't." She excused herself from the table, went to her room and cried silently for hours. All her grades, all her awards, none of it mattered. Not to them. That night she wrote down one goal: attend Westbridge. Graduate. Make them regret underestimating me. She didn't know how yet. But she would find a way. The next morning Claire confronted them. Her eyes were red, her voice low. "Why save for Bella and not me?" Her mother sipped her coffee, avoiding her eyes. "We made the best decision we could. Bella has a clearer future path. You'll figure things out." Her father added, "You've always been too focused on side projects. Bella's serious about her career." Claire stared at them both, then turned away. That weekend she drove 2 hours to see Grandma Ruth. As she told her everything, Ruth held her hand tightly. "Then go to Westbridge anyway," Ruth said fiercely. "Prove them all wrong." Grandma Ruth couldn't offer Claire money, but what she gave was something deeper: belief. "You've got fire in you, Claire," she said. "And fire can melt obstacles." Claire returned home and spent the next 2 months applying for every scholarship, grant and loan she could find. Her high school counselor, Miss Parker, stayed after school with her nearly every day, reviewing forms and essays. "You have grit," Miss Parker told her one evening. "I've seen students with money and no drive. You've got the drive. That'll take you further." Claire clung to those words as rejection emails poured in, alongside a few yes. Claire managed to patch together a plan. A few small scholarships, federal loans, a co-signed private loan from Grandma Ruth, and the rest made up through work. She found a cheap shared apartment 45 minutes from Westbridge and 3 roommates she met through a student forum. It wasn't ideal, the walls were thin, the neighborhood loud, but it was hers. Meanwhile, her parents bought Bella a new laptop, paid for a dorm suite, and threw her a going-away party. "Claire, would you like my old bed sheets?" her mom asked awkwardly the night before move-in. That was all she got. Move-in day came. Bella's belongings filled the family SUV. Their parents helped her settle in, hanging fairy lights and organizing her desk drawers. Claire followed in her old Toyota, the muffler rattling with every bump. No one offered to help load or unload. As they waved goodbye at Bella's dorm, Claire continued alone to her apartment. Her mom's parting words still echoed in her head. "Good luck, Claire. I hope this works out for you." The doubt in her voice was clear. Claire parked behind her new building, dragged her suitcases up the narrow staircase, and sat on a mattress on the floor. That first night, everything hit her at once. The noise, the loneliness, the fear. She cried into her pillow until her phone buzzed. It was Grandma Ruth. "Remember, diamonds are made under pressure. And you're already starting to shine." Claire stared at the message, wiped her face and got up. She grabbed a notebook and created a schedule. Every hour accounted for. Her life was about to be chaos, but she would make it work. She had no choice. Westbridge wasn't just college, it was her battleground. And Claire wasn't planning to lose. The next morning, Claire visited the financial aid office, where a kind woman named Miss Fields listened to her story. "You're taking on a mountain, Claire," she said. "But I've seen students like you succeed before. Come to me early if things get rough." Claire promised she would. On her way out, her phone buzzed again. It was Miss Parker, her high school counselor. "Great news," she said. "The business department pulled together a $1,000 award for you. Your teachers contributed personally." Claire blinked back tears. For the first time in a long while she felt seen. Classes started the following week and Claire dove in headfirst. Business, finance, marketing. Subjects she had studied in high school came alive. Most of her classmates were still adjusting to college life. Claire was already in full hustle mode. She worked early mornings at a coffee shop and picked up evening shifts at a bookstore. In between she studied. Her day started at 5 a.m. and ended after midnight. She recorded lectures to play during her commute, read textbooks while brewing lattes, and submitted assignments in Wi-Fi corners of campus. Sleep was a luxury. Failure wasn't an option. Despite everything, Claire excelled. She understood business not just from books but from living it. While her classmates struggled to apply theory, Claire was budgeting in real time, negotiating rent, juggling schedules. One day after class, her professor, Dr. Patel, stopped her. "Claire, your insight during today's case study was remarkable. You think like someone who's already running a business." Claire smiled shyly. "Thank you, sir. I've had some practice." That was the first time someone in college truly acknowledged the strength behind her quiet, relentless efforts. Back at her apartment, things were tough. Her roommates were friendly but noisy, the plumbing groaned in the night, and the landlord ignored her emails. Then came Zoe, a psychology major from the next room over. She noticed Claire often came home exhausted. One night, Zoe left a meal with a sticky note. "For the girl who never stops moving, eat this." Claire was touched. "Thanks," she said the next morning. "I've been running on cereal and caffeine." Zoe shrugged. "No one should study on an empty stomach. Consider me your unofficial college sister." Zoe's quiet kindness became Claire's anchor. She would cook, Claire would help edit essays. Zoe even made flashcards for Claire's tests. "You can't do everything alone," she said one night as Claire dozed off mid-sentence. "You shouldn't have to." For the first time since Grandma Ruth, Claire felt like someone was on her side. The loneliness that had followed her like a shadow began to lift. "You're family now," Zoe declared. "And sometimes the family you choose matters more than the one you're born into." Claire believed it. Claire's new job working with Dr. Patel turned out to be more than just income. It was inspiration. They were researching small business survival during economic downturns, something Claire understood firsthand. One afternoon, as they reviewed a case study, Dr. Patel asked, "Have you ever thought about starting your own business?" Claire blinked. "Actually, yes. Since high school." He smiled. "You think like a strategist. I believe you could create something valuable." That night, Claire stayed up sketching out ideas. What if she built something useful, even small, something that could grow? Using free online tools and knowledge from her marketing class, Claire created a basic website offering virtual assistant services to local businesses. She knew small shops often needed help with emails, scheduling, and marketing, but couldn't afford full-time staff. She offered flexible packages at low rates, and to her surprise, a bakery downtown became her first client. Then a bookstore followed. She worked nights building spreadsheets and social media plans. By spring semester, she had 3 paying clients. It wasn't much, but it was hers. For the first time, Claire felt like more than a student. He felt like a founder. Her business grew steadily. He hired 2 classmates part-time, one for web design, the other for content writing. "You're really doing this," Zoe said one evening as she watched Claire take a client call. "You're not just surviving. You're thriving." Claire smiled. "It still feels like I'm just keeping my head above water." Zoe nudged her. "You're building a boat while swimming. That's next level." Meanwhile, Bella's life at Westbridge continued down an easier road. She was in a sorority, partied on weekends, and posted polished photos with captions like "grateful for the best college years." Claire and Bella barely talked, until one cold evening in junior year, Claire heard a knock on her door. It was Bella, teary-eyed and clutching her laptop. "I need help," she said softly. "I'm failing my senior thesis. If I don't fix it in 3 weeks, I won't graduate." Claire hesitated, memories rushing in. The ignored birthdays, the family dinners where she was invisible. But then she stepped aside. "Come in. Let's figure it out." For the next few weeks, Claire guided Bella through research and citations, using everything she'd learned working with Dr. Patel. Their bond, once weak, began to grow stronger. Late one night, Bella whispered, "How do you do it all? The jobs, the grades, your business." Claire paused, then told her everything. The loans. The missed meals. The silent tears. "I thought you were fine," Bella said, stunned. "Mom and Dad always said you were just doing your own thing." Claire laughed bitterly. They didn't care enough to ask. Bella fell silent. "I'm sorry," she finally said. "They were wrong. About so much." That apology, while small, meant more than any gift. From then on, Bella changed. She turned down expensive offers from their parents and started walking her own path. By the end of senior year, Claire's business had 8 steady clients and now employed 4 student workers. It was featured in the local paper's business column, and her professors began inviting her to speak at entrepreneurship events. Dr. Patel nominated her for the National Collegiate Business Innovation Competition. "You have a shot," he told her. "Your model is unique and real." She worked on the presentation with her usual grit, building slides at night after shifts and polishing her speech with Zoe's help. "This is your moment," Zoe said. "Let the world see what your parents refused to." Clare made it to the final round of the competition. The prize? $50,000 in funding and national exposure. She walked into the room in her only blazer, nerves buzzing, but delivered her pitch with calm confidence. When they announced her as the winner, she froze. Then she cried. The photo of her accepting the check ended up on the front page of Westbridge's newspaper. She sent a copy to Grandma Ruth with a sticky note. "We did it." Ruth called in tears. "I knew they were wrong about you. I just didn't know how wrong until now." Graduation neared. One afternoon, Clare received an email from the Dean of Business. She had been selected to give the student address. Her hands shook. The same girl who once cried alone on a thin mattress was now the face of the graduating class. "Clare," the dean wrote, "your journey reflects resilience, innovation, and leadership. You are exactly what we want the world to see." Meanwhile, Bella was struggling again, this time with post-graduation uncertainty. "I don't know what I want to do," she confessed over coffee. Clare didn't gloat. "That's okay," she said kindly. "It takes time." Clare's parents arrived in town 2 days before graduation. They booked a big house for relatives and planned a party for Bella. Clare received a text from her mom. "You're welcome to stop by if you're not too busy." She showed it to Zoe, who scoffed. "They still don't get it." Clare shrugged. "They don't have to." On graduation day, she walked across the stage to thunderous applause. As she stood at the podium, she saw her parents' confused faces. They hadn't expected her to speak. They hadn't even brought a camera. But they couldn't ignore what came next. Clare's speech was raw and powerful. "I came to Westbridge with no financial help and built something from nothing. I worked 3 jobs. I lived on instant noodles. But I leave with honors, a 6-figure business, and a future brighter than I ever imagined." She didn't mention her parents. He didn't have to. The university president returned to the stage. "We're proud to honor Clare Morgan as this year's valedictorian and the recipient of our highest entrepreneurship award." Then came the surprise. Clare has accepted a position at Raven & Company Consulting. She'll be our first graduate to join their national program straight out of college. The room stood in applause. Clare looked into the crowd. Her father's mouth hung open. Her mother looked pale. And Bella? Bella was already on her feet, clapping, crying, and cheering her sister louder than anyone. Here is the continuation of the story. Paragraphs 31 to 35, bringing Clare's emotional journey to a powerful close, while preserving the storytelling voice, rich dialogue, and easy-to-understand tone. After the ceremony, guests swarmed Clare with congratulations. Professors, classmates, even strangers wanted to shake her hand. Zoe and Grandma Ruth found her first. "You did it," Ruth said, wrapping Clare in a tight hug. "And the world finally saw you the way I always did." Bella joined them moments later, wiping her tears. "Clare, your speech, everyone's talking about it. You didn't just make me proud, you made me reflect. You're the strongest person I know." For the first time, the sisters embraced not as rivals but as equals. Clare didn't say much. He didn't need to. Her journey spoke for itself. Later that evening, Clare received an invitation to the family dinner at the rental house. "We want to celebrate both daughters," the message read. He went, not for validation but for closure. As she walked in, the room fell silent. Her father stood, attempting a smile. "Clare, we didn't realize," he began. "You didn't ask," she said calmly. "That's the part you've never understood." Her mother nodded, tears in her eyes. "We see it now. And we're sorry. Truly." Clare gave a small nod. She didn't trust their words, not yet. But she respected the effort. It was a start. Uncle James raised his glass. "To Clare, valedictorian, entrepreneur, and the one who proved us all wrong." The room echoed with applause. Even her parents joined in, awkward but trying. After dinner, her dad pulled her aside. "We'd like to help with your next step," he offered. "Maybe a contribution to your apartment in the city?" Clare smiled politely. "That won't be necessary. Raven & Company pays well. And I've got savings from my business. But thank you." It wasn't meant to sting, it was simply the truth. Her success was now undeniable. And it had nothing to do with them. Over the summer, Claire moved into a sleek apartment near her new office. Her business continued under student management, and she mentored new students through the same scholarship she once applied for. At a donor event in August, she gave a short speech. Success isn't just about grades or awards. It's about persistence when no one's watching. It's about believing in yourself when no one else does. Afterward, the university president presented her with a plaque, Clare Morgan Resilience Scholarship Founder. Her name would forever be tied to the support of students who came from nothing just like her. On the one-year anniversary of graduation, Claire stood on the porch of Grandma Ruth's lake house, watching the water shimmer. Bella sat beside her, sipping tea. "Do you think you'll ever really forgive them?" Bella asked quietly. Claire thought for a moment. Forgiveness isn't about pretending it didn't happen. It's about not letting it control me anymore. She looked out at the horizon. They saw me too late. But I saw myself just in time. Claire smiled soft certain. The girl who once cried alone in a cold apartment had become a woman defined not by rejection, but by resilience. Moral lesson. Sometimes the people closest to you will underestimate your worth. But your value is never determined by their belief. True strength lies in rising anyway, in turning rejection into resolve, and proving to yourself that you are always enough. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the story, please help us to like, comment and subscribe to the channel for more of this.